welcome to my channel. I know it's been a while since I posted a few updates. So it's been a while because, as life would have it, I was very unwell for a time, and I'm still healing. Nearly back to best, so just getting back to it, but I cannot do reads when I am not well for obvious reasons. I'm just susceptible to a lot of other energies that are not tailored to my own, and I need to garner myself for my own healing. So there's that. But I am doing better, and it's very interesting. My last read that I didn't even get to post, actually, I had talked about an illness, and coincidentally, right, I fell prey to that in some capacity. So very, very interesting. But I am nearly back to best. I want to jump into it, see where we are with the collective, because I have been, while in my space of having this pause that was necessary, I feel like I grew quite a bit. Like my perspective, there's been a paradigm shift for sure. And the pause was necessary, and I'm starting to understand the reason behind pauses. And there's different levels and layers for why people have pauses in their life, right? Sometimes it's because you're doing too much and you're burnt out, you need a pause. Sometimes it's for clarity, sometimes it's to have more development, sometimes it's just a respite, just for you to rest before you really move into what it is that you're going to be doing. So for me, I found that my pause was really for me to address more hidden aspects of my own shadow. And that is something that I thought I had addressed. And it's so funny because, our shadows are very tricky. And I've learned that fear amongst anything, as the plane is going over. So if y'all hear that, that's the plane going over, flying away. Fear's flying away. But fear is one of those things that is so tricky, because I have started to think of fear as that friend that can't stand alone. Fear cannot stand alone. It needs other emotions to hide behind so that you don't discover it. It's like it hangs in a posse. So the minute you deal with the fear, or what you think is the friends of the fear is still there. So what I mean by that is this. Fear is one of those emotions that hang out with, like, they couple themselves with shame, with guilt, with self-sabotage, with self-loathing, with envy, jealousy. So when you heal certain aspects of yourself, you're like, well, I got rid of that jealousy, and I no longer feel shame for this, and I no longer. So what fear does is it latches on to another friend. It's like, oh, you took one of my friends out of here, so now I'm going to hang out with this one now. Oh, this one's going to a new school. Okay, well, now I hang out with this one. And so it kind of trickles through the friends, so you never quite get to the root sometimes, or it can resurface. So in my case, I had a lot of breakthroughs with where my fear was hiding and how it was materializing in my world, and how it was preventing me from doing the things that I know I want to do. I know I'm called to do. I know my heart's telling me to go this direction, but there's this force that I'm trying to figure out what's going on with it. So I don't know if that's something that you guys are experiencing, but I know it's something that's definitely prevalent in my world right now. And I needed to also understand the difference between the anxiety and the excitement, because they have similar feelings. And so I needed to sit with myself to really assess what was what and why I was feeling the things I was feeling. And once I got to the root of it, coincidentally enough, I started to feel better. Of course, I did the physiological things you're supposed to do to feel better. You rest, you hydrate, you take fluids, all the things. But from an energetic perspective, a mindset perspective, I definitely felt energetically much better and much more aligned. And so it also made me think about the path of resistance and what resistance is, because our bodies and our shadow want to keep us protected at all times. But when there's a hidden soundtrack that we don't know who's playing it, it's very, very difficult for us to actually find it, change the song, and get on with what our heart calls us to do. And so I'm in a space of gratitude, actually, because it's not easy to sit with yourself, and certainly sit with yourself when you feel like you're having a setback or a pause or some aspect of why things aren't working the way that you want them to work. But I will say that it was necessary. And even in the pain that I was feeling during the time that I was unwell, it was like I needed that. And I would never think that I would say, oh, I need the pain. But even in having the pain, I had to look at my mindset. What is my mindset? Is pain really painful hurting you? Is it preventing you from walking and talking and doing the things? Or is it a discomfort? What value am I giving pain? And over this course of time that I was sitting and pausing, I learned to find the purpose. And the purpose for me was definitions. What definition do I give the thing or the feeling that I am feeling or the emotion that I'm feeling at that time? And why do I give it that emotion? So if you're feeling pain, for example, what's another way to say you're feeling pain that you can make it positive? Well, I'm uncomfortable and I don't like that. That's not my preferred thing. I would prefer not to be uncomfortable. I would prefer that. But what does the symbol of discomfort mean? Growth, right? Because when you're growing, it's not always the most comfortable thing because you're learning something that you don't know. You're putting yourself in a position that you've never been before. So it can be uncomfortable because you don't know what to expect. You don't know what's on the other side. You don't know what you're going to gain. So that's uncomfortable. And so, but you're growing. And so the growth is the positive thing, but the discomfort is the not knowing of what's on the other side of the growth. But if you can hold on to the fact that this is the process of growth, so ultimately there's a positive thing that's coming out of it, then the definition changes. Then that discomfort that you feel can be exciting because you know that you're growing. And you know there's something on the other side. You know you're going to develop into something. You know when that caterpillar crystallizes, it's uncomfortable, but it will turn into a butterfly. There is something on the other side. So I needed to see how I define the feelings that I have so that I can make them work for me, and then also allow that to work with my shadow self so that my shadow self and I can be attuned and aligned to each other and not at odds. Because if I'm at odds with my shadow self is going to win. Like, no doubt about it, because that's your subconscious, right? And we are governed by our subconscious, believe it or not. So I'm not trying to listen. I don't want no smoke with the shadow. Me and the shadow need to be friends. So I needed to figure out what my definitions are. And so I needed to just take that time to say, one, this is why I was away for a while, but I'm here. Two, this is what I've learned, right? So my purpose wasn't in vain. My purpose wasn't, and don't get me wrong, I did victimize. I did do the things. I was like, why is this happening to me? I've got too much stuff to do. I've got little kids. Like, what is this? But all that to say that there was a purpose. I found the purpose for me that works and that is efficient for me. And I hope that this was helpful and beneficial to you. So I'm going to get right into it so that, you know, because I am hyperverbal as heck. So y'all know that. So let's see what's in store. What is the messages that we have today? Let's just start with general messages for the collective to see what we need to know. What's the theme in our world right now? Okay. I'm starting with the Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle deck. So we'll see what we have going on as our theme. All right. Okay. Ooh. So right away we have Bliss, which is all about sun energy. Yeah, it's like you have there's like a lot of happiness on the way. Better times are ahead is what I'm hearing. It's like it's only up from here. Okay. Yeah. All right. There's a lot of fire, water. It's like duality, polarity, duality type of energy. You've got Griot, which is blissed. And then you have Root of Water, which is highly sensitive. It's like, and then at the bottom of the deck, you have Mother of Fire, Shine and Rise. So this is giving me this energy of like, especially with the sun, this is like, follow your bliss, literally. Like, these are sunflowers, or like, yeah, they're sunflowers. And it's almost, the sunflower follows the sun. So it's like literally following your happiness, what makes you happy, and being attuned and open to what that is with the Root of Water. The Root of Water is like the Page of Cups. So it's really, it's like, let me see. Because the depth of your emotion is what's going to bring you the happiness. So follow that. Like, that's what I'm getting. It's like really following what your heart says. What's and this is also giving me that energy of like feeling like maybe you're on an emotional roller coaster, like you're on the path of happiness, but you don't really quite see it yet, but you're on the verge of it. It's like I feel it, but I don't know. And you're going through a lot of emotional turmoil in the process. It's like you're going through highs and lows, right? Like, for example, what I was describing, right? It was a negative, I was attributing a negative thing to what I was going through and experiencing, but I was not allowing myself to fully understand the true purpose behind the experience. And a lot of times what we do is we don't give ourselves that time to actually experience it because we've already put a negative belief on why it's happening. So if you feel like being unwell is negative, then everything is going to look negative. But if you look at it like, okay, I'm experiencing this in a deneutralized type of way, like it's neutral. This is just an experience, not good nor bad. It's an experience. And in this experience, I feel uncomfortable. It's not good or bad. It's just what it is. And then shifting your mindset. So it's like that, riding that wave of what this new, how to define emotions, is what I feel. Because when you do that, it's actually going to allow you to attract what's more in alignment with you. I hope that makes sense, because it's like the more the more obstacles or negative beliefs that you put on something that may or may not be true, the harder it is to feel the excitement, even when you're on the path of what excites you. So if an obstacle comes up and it throws you off, you may feel like, well, I'm not on the right path because why would this happen? Instead of just saying, what is the lesson that I need to learn? Why did this show up? There's something in here for me while on this path that I need to know in order to continue on this path. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, because it's a subtle shift, but it makes a big impact when it comes to your happiness, your desire, your path, what you want to do. And then with Mother of Fire at the bottom of the deck with Shine and Rise, that's what this is. It's literally like shining your light, being seen, being aware, nurturing the gifts that you've birthed to is what I'm hearing. It's like nurturing. If you look, this mom is like, well, she's nurturing the babies. It's like the gifts are already here. But they may not have developed the way you want them to, because maybe there was a slowdown, right? A pause. So you're like, well, what? Maybe there's stuff you started, but you didn't finish. It could be that, right? Because you started something, you didn't finish it because there's a pause. Now you're like, I don't want to do it no more. You know, it's that kind of energy. But yeah, and then right underneath that, you have the Martyr, sacrifice and self-reflection, right? So this is really taking a look inward at you to figure out like what mindset shift or what limiting belief or what negative belief did you apply to a situation or to a circumstance that you're experiencing while on your path that's serving you, but you're missing the purpose behind it. You're missing how it's serving you. I hope that makes sense, because it can be a little bit complex to understand, but it's like a mindset shift a little bit. So let's just get some energy here to see where we are, what's going on. What do we need to know? What's our general message or our message of the day? Okay, got the Strength card coming out. How do people view us? How are you being seen right now? Okay. How should we respond? Okay. I'm just gonna get all the cards, but right now this is like transformative energy. What's coming towards us? Pentacles. What's hidden? What's hidden from us at this time? Okay. It's the current energy. And what's the action we should take for this current energy? Yeah. And the advice, overall advice for this energy, please. Okay. All right. I'm going to look at this. Okay. So it's so interesting. Okay. So what's coming out first is the Strength card. So we have the Strength card coming out as our kind of like message of the day. And instantly what I'm being drawn to is the infinity sign on her arm. She has like a tattoo of the like infinity symbol. I don't know if you can see it. But it's almost like be strong enough to go through things and look at things from a different perspective. Be strong enough through whatever it is that you're going through or whatever it is that you're experiencing, whether it's a pause, whether it's what you feel is a cutback or a setback. If you feel like you're working really hard but you're not seeing the fruits of your labor yet, continue to move forward, because this just requires a shift. It's like, I feel this energy of like taming the beast is what I'm hearing, but it's more like taming the ego. Because sometimes when things don't work the way we expect them to work, we get in our ego like, well, I had all the groundwork. It was supposed to, like if you have a deadline, let's say you have a project, right? You're working on a project, you want this project to roll out on a certain day. You've done all the homework. You've looked at the planetary alignments, child. You done looked at the best possible strategy. You have laid out this whole entire strategy for what you want to do. And then you have this setback. Something happened and you're not able to fulfill it. And you're like, but I had a strategy. I did everything. I planned all the stuff. Everything's together. What do you mean? You know, and it's like, maybe there's a reason. Stop and assess the reason. Tame the ego, because the ego can only see but so much. The ego can only go but so far. Your ego can only know what you've planned, what's happening. The ego knows the here and the now. They don't know the future. Your higher you knows the future, right? So it's like, trust the universe, trust yourself, trust your higher self. And a lot of to trust your higher self is obviously to get to know your shadow self, right? Because you have to uncover some of those blockages. So it's understanding that your ego can only take you but so far. So you have to tame that and know that if something is not going according to what your ego has planned for you, because you can only see but so far, there may be something better that you just can't foresee, which is why you needed to pause. Maybe there's some lesson that you need to learn because something is bigger than what you've envisioned, and you need to be prepared for that bigger thing, whatever that thing is. Does that make sense? So this like taming the beast within, tame that ego. Because then what you have is how people are viewing you is with the Four of Pentacles, with the Magician. So it's like you're working on something in secret. Someone's like, it's like you're working on something hidden in secret. You're not telling anyone, you're keeping it close by your chest, but people see you as, and again, you see this infinity. Again, there's these endless possibilities of things that are working out. You probably can feel it, but you don't see it. And because you're in your ego, you're like, well, it's never going to work now because it didn't go according to the strategy that I planned, right? But there's a bigger plan ahead. And so even though you feel like you're set back, the world does not see you as, or your peers, your society, your community, whatever, they don't see you as like, you know, not following through. They actually see you as like, you're cooking up something. We can't wait to see what it is. That's the energy, I guess. Like what, like you've been too quiet almost. You know what I mean? It's that kind of energy. And how you should respond. You have the Ten of Wands. So if the Ten of Wands is all about, you know, working really hard, having a lot of baggage or struggle. But I feel like you're at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like, because if you look, it's like this person has already climbed down that hill. They're not trying to go up the hill. It's like they've gotten the wisdom along the way. Yeah, there's still some stuff here, okay? But we're learning on how to shift that stuff, right? Is this stuff useful? Do we need all this stuff? You know, the energy I get is like everything has a purpose. So it is a hard road, but you've collected knowledge along the way. And so now that you've collected knowledge along the way, now you can determine how all this stuff is going to benefit you. Is it going to benefit you? Now you know, right? But it's almost like you're down this hill. You're not trying to go uphill. It's no longer an uphill battle. That's what I'm hearing. It's now like, okay, whew, I made it over that. You know, it's like, that's the energy. And when I look here, I was drawn to the mountains in the back. It's like, this is behind you. This is how they're seeing you, but this is behind you because you're already, you've plummeted through it and you've collected those little nuggets of knowledge along the way. I hope that makes sense. So then when we look at the Two of Pentacles, this is what's coming to you. So the Two of Pentacles is like, okay, now that you've got this knowledge, now that you've gone through this, whatever this is for you, this is like trying to figure out How are you going to balance it? How do you integrate this information? How do you integrate what you've learned? How do you apply it in such a way where it works for you, where you're not spinning yourself out of control, but you're actually working to garner a better sense of what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to move? Sorry, y'all, that's my cat in the back. I don't know what she's doing. But if you hear her, that's my cat. So this is that. It's like taking stock and assessing, because I do feel like there's opportunities that are coming, and I'm getting this energy of like love, life, career, like love and career. So if you were trying to figure out what you should focus on, for example, it's like, how do you integrate the knowledge that you have where you can have both? Sometimes it's like finding the fulfillment in all areas of your life, but their focus, I'm feeling like love and career specifically, even though it's Two of Pentacles. So maybe it could be one of those things where it's like, maybe you felt like you had to work on one thing first and then the other thing second, right? Like, well, I have to do all my career stuff first, and then I'll focus on love. Or I'm not thinking about love right now because I need to focus on this. There's something about that, feeling like you have to focus on one and the other, but this is really about fulfilling what fulfills you. So you can do both. You don't have to just stick to one thing. It can be open. And I feel like with that lesson, right, these nuggets of knowledge of what you were learning and what you were seeing, it's like, I don't have to do one way or the other way. I can do what lights me up here. I can do what lights me. It's like, what are the different ways that you can navigate the things that you want? It doesn't have to be a romantic love, right? It could be just a love of life, love of things, lifestyle. How do you incorporate a lifestyle that looks different, feels different, but feels fulfilled at the same time? And I think that's where we're moving into. That's what it feels like. And then with the Nine of Cups here, this is what we don't see. So us integrating this, what we've learned from climbing over the mountaintop with all our baggage, and dissecting it and diluting and getting to the root of everything, this is what happens. Our Nine of Cups, our happiness. Nine of Cups is all about happiness. And when we started, this was the first card that came out, right? The Sun, following your happiness. So what lifestyle choices can you make that's going to allow you to feel light, feel free, feel like you can fly? Did I say something about flying earlier? I feel like I did. I think it was the plane, maybe? Maybe it was the plane. But there's something about your fear flying away. I think that's what I said. Like, it's like you feel liberated. So you're walking inside. You don't see that. That's what's coming. That's what's hidden. We don't see it, how it's happening, but that's what's happening. And then our current energy is that King of Swords. This is getting clear. This is analyzing. This is thinking through things. This is shifting your mindset. And especially because you have the Hangman, that's like, what's the action that we need to take for this? It's the mindset shift. Shift your mindset on how you think about things. If you look here, this person is upside down, but their enlightenment is when they're in a different situation. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm not standing upside down. Sorry, man, it's like all over the place. But she's probably uncomfortable, but she's getting a different mindset. I don't think it's comfortable to be upside down, but again, to each his own. This person is upside down, but they're gaining a different perspective. And sometimes you have to be in uncomfortable situations, dangling over whatever, right? But you have to look at things differently, because I guarantee you, your perspective is going to be shifted, right? So this is looking at things from a completely different perspective and then analyzing how that works for you. And then our overall energy is the advice. The overall advice is that Knight of Swords. It's like, get excited for what you love to do. Get excited. Follow that, whatever, that wanderlust. Follow it. Follow it. Just be free, because again, this is that nurturing energy, right? This is Mother of Fire, shine and rise. She's nurturing these little gifts that she felt maybe was set back, but you still have to nurture what you brought in, so that and get excited about it. You know, it's a very fiery, passionate thing, and it doesn't, you can be passionate about more than love, right? The love of life, the love of your lifestyle, the love of what you want to do, your goals, your projects, whatever. Get excited about that. That's what you're getting excited about. Now, at the bottom of the deck, I have the Seven of Swords, and I do want to clarify with the Four of Cups. And I feel like what I'm getting instantly with these two is like, you didn't see this coming. It was a disappointment that you didn't see coming. It doesn't mean, and it puts you in a space of feeling loss. Right. Okay. So you didn't see it coming. But the thing about it is this person, there's a key here. There's a key here, which means there's a way out. So sometimes life happens to us and there's a way out, but because it wasn't the way that we designed, it wasn't the way that we said, it wasn't the way that we planned, because, you know, we have plans, right? So we feel like it's not going to work, but she literally has the key in the room with her. It's not hidden. It's not locked up. She literally can come out of this room if she wanted to. She just has to look. She just has to look in a different direction. She has to look at it from a different vantage point. She has to look at it from a different perspective. And then she will then be able to free herself. And a lot of us, sometimes we have to look at things from a different perspective. Life is going to life. But that doesn't mean that we have to just sit and wallow in whatever the life presents to us. Life is to be experienced. That doesn't mean that every experience is going to be your preferred experience. Changing our terms even is helpful. You know, you don't want to take these beliefs that were passed down from us that we never signed up for. I didn't sign up for a lot of the beliefs that I had, but now I have to unlearn those beliefs. Now I have to see what aligns with what I truly believe, what I don't believe, how it's going to work for me, how it's not going to work for me. These are all the things that are important for my growth and development. So just because something's handed down to you doesn't mean that you have to prefer it, or that you have to like it, or that you have to apply it to your current circumstance or your experience. You know? So I think that's the message, really. Normally I clarify the cards, but I feel like the message is very clear. I'm gonna leave it here, actually, because I don't feel called to clarify. Spirit's telling me I don't need to clarify, but I will pull pull some cards. The first card that just jumped out was, there's a path you're meant to be on, trust it. And that's like the premise of this whole reading, honestly. It's probably why I didn't need to clarify the cards. Challenge yourself to be stronger than your challenges. It's literally just, literally, that's the message. It's like, you're going to master your material reality in the future. Don't worry about the pentacles. Don't worry about how it's going to materialize. It will. It just there may be a better way to do it that your ego self doesn't know. Don't dwell on what might be on the other side of that closed door. The closed door. Because you have the key to unlock another door. You know? So I hope, you know, I hope this is beneficial to somebody out there. I hope it resonated with someone. A little quick reading because I know I was out for a while trying to heal. So I hope this helps. I hope it resonates, and I will see y'all in the next one. Thank y'all for watching.